Welcome back to what might actually be the final part of my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate series. I just realized, though, that we're gonna get a Sora amiibo. That seems a bit irrelevant, but, I was just thinking for a second, maybe if I can somehow get hold of the amiibos for all the DLC characters, maybe I'll do another amiibo battle royale at some point. But anyway, we're gonna be taking on Sora's Spirit Board. With incredibly, I wouldn't call this epic, but, like, how would I describe it? Like, this music, I don't know, it's just very, pathos, is that the feeling? Like, anyway, for like, the kind of fitting for the final Spirit Board, but anyway, we're gonna be fighting some spirits, and it's Daisy. It's kind of funny. Well, I mean, Kairi, I think Kairi likes flowers, and Daisy's associated with flowers. The enemy starts battle with Lipstick, and it's an island. That makes a lot of sense. So, while I do this, I'm gonna talk about something that I never thought that I'd actually get to talk about in a Smash Brothers video, my history with the Kingdom Hearts series. So, I got into Kingdom Hearts through, believe it or not, IGN's terrible review of Kingdom Hearts 2. I watched that video, I heard about people complaining about that video, and I decided this can't be as bad as the video says it is. So I'm gonna play, it's kind of a dark spirit battle, honestly. The fact that we have to just destroy Kairi right in front of Sora's eyes. I was like, okay, yeah, this can't possibly be as bad as the review is saying. And so I wanted to play it. However, at the time, Kingdom Hearts 2 was not out in Australia. It was out in the US, and it didn't come out in Australia until, like, almost the end of that year. There was, I think, like, almost a 6-month release gap, which was kind of, ridiculous. But that was just how things went in those days. So instead, I picked up Kingdom Hearts 1 for rental at Blockbuster, and I played it, and, I really enjoyed it. And then when 2 came out, I played 2, and I enjoyed it even more, I think, yeah. Kingdom Hearts 2 is interesting because at the time, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the epitome of an artist that was not appreciated in its own time. Because when Kingdom Hearts 2 first came out, people actually didn't like it that much. Like, even the people who thought the IGN review was kind of bad. Oh, that's Vanitas, isn't it? That's kind of cool. Yeah, people actually thought that, like, the game was very button-mashy, it was too easy, the story was controversial, oh boy, if they knew what directions the story would go in later, and just, like, a lot of elements of it in general were really contentious, and people just, didn't like it as much as the first game, but as things, like, went on, not only did people come to appreciate 2 a lot more, particularly after Final Mix came out, and, it wasn't so much, well, one, Final Mix refined a lot of the elements of the combat system that were a bit underutilized or not great in the original. It buffed a lot of Keyblades and some of the summons and things like that. But at the same time, also just the fact that Final Mix added a lot of harder fights, it made people appreciate the battle system a lot more than they used to. Because the thing about the original game is that it actually... 2, I mean, is that it actually has a very deep battle system, and one that takes quite a lot of learning, and is actually very well designed, and incredibly well balanced, like, from what I can tell, because one thing I love about Kingdom Hearts 2 speedruns is that when you watch if you haven't watched a Kingdom Hearts 2 speedrun, I'd recommend you do it, because every single ability... Summon, Drive Form, Magic, Keyblade, almost every Keyblade. The Mulan Keyblade still sucks, but most of them. And pretty much every single ability in the entire game gets used at least once. It's insane just how everything has a purpose in that run. I'm guessing those are like a whole bunch of shadows, because Aqua was trapped in the realm of darkness, spoilers. At the same time, though, I can understand why it caused, Kingdom Hearts 2 fans to kind of become almost like Fire Emblem low turn counters, and just, be like, oh, only Kingdom Hearts 2 matters, and everything should be like Kingdom Hearts 2, and anything that isn't Kingdom Hearts 2 is automatically bad. When it's kind of interesting how Birth by Sleep is really, really well liked by mainstream players, probably more than 2 is actually, but it's not liked by speedrunners. It's actually considered a lot worse by speedrunners, which is kind of interesting because that's where the floatiness started. You just completely dodged all of that, didn't you? Wow, you guys are comboing me a lot. Maybe I will need a more advanced spirit for this, but at least it'll give me more time to talk about, Oh no. Or I could just do that and launch myself off the edge like Little Mac. Hostile assist trophies, I didn't notice that. I don't know what assist trophies are going to appear, but, probably something water-related. Of course, Lucina being Aqua is kind of... I'm guessing that Terra is going to be Ike, maybe, or Chrom. Probably Ike. But yeah, anyway, there was that, and like, as the years went by, like, Kingdom Hearts 1 has, been evaluated maybe a little bit less positively, I'm not sure. It's like, the funny thing about Kingdom Hearts 1 is I remember, ironically, also an IGN review, but of Kingdom Hearts 1, back in the day was talking about how, they summed it up as, Kingdom Hearts 1 succeeds in spite of some of the biggest flaws I've ever seen a game succeed in spite of. Namely, like, the camera and the gummy ship and a whole lot of stuff. Kingdom Hearts 1 is kind of interesting because it has a lot of puzzle-solving and platforming elements, which were very much dropped from future entries that became more focused on combat. And, like, to be honest, I'm totally okay with that. Crystal... Oh, that kind of fits, I suppose. I mean, Crystal uses a lot of magic, and Aqua's kind of the magic user of the initial, not initial, of the... I'm just gonna call them the Doomed Trio, because... Or the Bad Fate Trio. The Wayfinder Trio, maybe? I don't know what they're, like, officially called in the fandom, but, they didn't have good fates, let's just say. Oh, okay. Time to seal the keyhole of your face. Kingdom Hearts is light! Yes, Kingdom Hearts was so dumb even in the first game, but we all love it. Well, most of us do. I think a lot of people take the stories too seriously, but I'll get into that maybe a bit later. Stop missing! I feel like I'm using that one ability in Kingdom Hearts 2 that makes you whiff all the time. I forget if it was called, like, Slap Shot or Sliding Dash. It was one of those two, but, I need to replay Kingdom Hearts 2 someday and not equip that ability, because it's apparently really bad and ruins your combos. And you actually do a lot better at the game if you just don't equip that ability. So, I'm gonna pause my tangent for a second to talk about something here. What was Chrom? Hello! Me Tewa. Nice Master Xehanort tell Tewa Galib very trustworthy. Now Tewa spirit. So, speaking of Kingdom Hearts plots and dumbness, I have an ironic fondness for Terra because I consider him a complete idiot, and to be fair, like, in his defense, he's actually not that bad. Like, he doesn't trust villains nearly as much as most people think he does. It's only a few times, but those few times are so memorable that it just really sticks out, and so, just, in my head, Terra's just a complete idiot who's just like, ooh, Master Xehanort's so nice, he not evil at all. He never betray us. The Holy Bastion theme actually does kind of fit Terra, if I'll be honest. I mean, you fight him, in Radiant, no, wait, no, his portal is in Disney Castle, isn't it? Which is kind of strange. Oh, not gonna go a third time, not gonna make the same mistake I did before. But yeah, I'm pretty sure his portal was in the Disney Castle, which is kind of weird. And then of the Birth by Sleep characters, Terra was, like, the easiest to master character, and, but also the one of the three who's awful against not the final boss, against the super boss, because his dash doesn't give invincibility frames, or at least gives bad invincibility. Ashley? Huh. I forget if, like, this is a reference to one of Terra's, like, I don't know if it's a reference to one of his shot locks or one of his command styles. It might be. I mean, I don't know if it's just a reference to Terra getting, I mean, his brain scrambled, I'll just say. Well, technically not his brain, just his body and heart. His brain actually, bad. Am I dead? No, I'm okay. I'm kind of okay. Oh, no, I'm not okay anymore. Terra didn't like me insulting his intelligence, apparently. I mean, you know, he can hit hard. He's still strong. He's just, you know, dumb as rocks. Which kind of fits because he's the Earth guy. But, so I guess I can talk more about, my experiences with, the series. I actually was one of those who always liked 2. 2 was actually one of my favorites from the beginning, so I'm kind of glad to see it get a resurgence. Again, I'm still not entirely a fan of how much some of the speedrunners glorify it all the time, but at the same time, like, a lot of the Kingdom Hearts speedrunners do seem really nice, and they all have great, commentary on, like, awesome games done quick Kingdom Hearts speedruns are always some of the most fun to watch. They're always great. Like, I definitely recommend them, especially the ones where they do a donation incentive to sing Disney songs, and they've got some pretty good singers among their number, so those ones are, yeah, they're pretty great. I'm getting wrecked by Terra again. And I just barely didn't get my counter off, and oh, Ashley got to make me invisible one last time before she disappeared. Terra getting hit by ice there, which is sort of water, just made me think of how a lot of people ship Terra and Aqua. Which I'm sort of okay with. One of my favorite lines, I love the way that Ven says he said to take 2 grown-ups. That's great. It's another thing that Kingdom Hearts proved to me was that Jesse McCartney, actually a pretty good actor. Which I didn't expect at first, but, like, yeah, when everyone heard that he was gonna play, like, a major character in Kingdom Hearts, I was like, what? He's, like, a kind of, like, boy band singer. Why would he be in a, I've already used Timeless River Sora, I guess I'll go with Valor form. I wish I had this against Possessed Riku in the first game. Yeah, he did a really good job, and also, like, Then, in Birth by Sleep, was a character that I ended up liking a lot more than I expected to, because, like, at first I was like, wait, why does he look exactly like Roxas for no logical reason? I just, like, I have a jetpack, that's weird. Wow, Sora with a jetpack, that's gonna be kind of insane. Anyway, like, I was really confused why he looked exactly like Roxas, and it still doesn't make a lot of sense even now, although Vanitas' appearance makes even less sense. They try and explain it in 3, but it's still pretty dumb. Basically why I liked him so much is that he turned out to be nothing like Roxas. Like, Roxas was very much the angsty, edgy teenager, while Ven was very much a child, and kind of, like, unashamedly a child. And they kind of played that really well. I ended up, again, like, I liked him a lot more than I expected to. Meanwhile, again, Terra was dumb, and Aqua was, yeah, I don't know, like, people say Aqua's the only worthwhile female character in the series, but at the same time, Aqua, I'm totally dead, aren't I? Well, I mean, you know, it wouldn't be Kingdom Hearts without being destroyed by Riku at least once. That's a massive fail, isn't it? Okay. Yep, there I go. Insert, come on, Sora, I thought you were stronger than that here. Increase move speed starts with a black hole. Yeah, that does make sense. It's funny how a lot of Fire Emblem characters are representing Kingdom Hearts characters now, because I don't think there's a whole lot of overlap between the fandoms, really, unless it's just JRPG fans in general, but I don't really think a lot of Fire Emblem fans like Kingdom Hearts, I'm assuming. So, yeah, anyway, I'm just going on a whole heap of different tangents here, but basically throughout the various games, I've played all of them, except I have not played Chain of Memories, because I never wanted to get the GBA version, and then honestly, the PS2 version has very awkward voice acting, especially young Sora that sounds like older Sora. And speaking of older Sora, like, I've always felt like, so it's weird, like, I have weird, like, kind of headcanon, not headcanons, but like Sora's age, he's a lot younger than I thought he was, because like I always pictured with how much older he sounded than Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2, I always pictured older Sora as like Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora as at least 16, maybe even 17. Apparently he's only supposed to be like 14. So, yeah, that was kind of a surprise to learn that. Yeah, you're being pretty aggressive, aren't you? Aha! I managed to get you with that before I fell off the stage, and I have a chance of 2 of these. Oh, if only we could do this to possess Riku back in the day. Yep, I did get the second one. And that should have hit him. There we go. I am very, very glad that re-releases let you skip cutscenes, because otherwise, yeah, having to rewatch the possessed Riku cutscene every single time that you lose to him is a real pain. It's not fun at all. Oh, hey, we both hit each other. That's kind of funny. Oh, I'm using too many aerial spirals. I think it leaves you very open to being punished if you whiff it, so yeah. I'm not playing Sora well. Ironically, despite being such a simple character, he does require pretty complex smash skill to actually use well. But at least I'm not struggling with him as much as I did with Steve, that's the name. So, Xion. I like Xion a lot, and I just feel like, yeah, Xion. She got unfairly called a Mary Sue a lot back when she debuted. And then some people started interpreting her story as basically a giant, as a giant, like deconstruction of Mary Sue's. Because, like, at the time, Kingdom Hearts had a huge amount of fangirls who really wanted to insert themselves into Organization 13, so, yeah. That's, oh, one of them having a sword, and one of them... This might be a reference to spoilers, but, like, the multiple forms in that fight. Like, I did like that fight quite a lot. It was a pretty cool fight, and the music was great. Vector to the Heavens, that's a song name that I do actually know. Man on the internet uploaded a lyrical remix of that right before Sora got announced for Smash, and he had no idea. Oh yeah, some of them are male. I wonder if that references the fact that Xion is... Okay, that's a spoiler, but I guess I'll say it because, I mean, you know, Kingdom Hearts are so ridiculous, people don't really take the story that seriously anyway, that Xion's basically a Sora clone. I mean, technically, she's Sora's memories of Kairi given form with Sora's memories, and, yeah. I guess with that, I can lead into one sort of thing that I wanted to talk about in this video, and that's that, so Kingdom Hearts' stories. Kingdom Hearts' story gets a lot of flack, a lot of the time. Like, I've heard some people be like, I don't want to name names, but I've heard, like, some YouTubers in, like, things I've listened to who have been very scathing towards the story. And I'm not talking about Jello Apocalypse, by the way, in case you're wondering. I thought people might get that impression, but I'm actually not. It was just an offhand comment in the stream of a totally different game that, like, someone was talking about how he likes the series, but he hates the stories of everything past 1. And I'm just like, it's just like, I stopped taking the story seriously since Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, that's basically my secret to enjoying the series. Like, I just, at this point, like, I know the stories are really stupid, and, like, the plot points are just getting more and more ridiculous and stuff, but, like, I don't care. I relish in it, and I just enjoy the stupidity. Like, that's just, and I just have fun with it. I don't know if, like, that sounds like, it sounds kind of like I'm being taking shots at it, but I mean that in the best possible way. Like, Kingdom Hearts' stories are the epitome of, like, again, dumb fun, but in a really good way. It's just like, yeah, nothing makes sense, and yeah, everything is really, really, like, really bizarre. Oh, I wanted to land the final blow with Blizzard so badly. And just insane and convoluted, but, like, I don't care. At its heart, this is a series about a spiky-haired anime protagonist who goes around beating up Disney villains with a giant key. Like, It's kind of reminds me of how, like, some people, and I've seen lately a lot of people heavily dispute this, but, like, I personally always enjoyed the Sonic stories more when they were, like, colors and didn't take themselves seriously. But just like with Kingdom Hearts, like, I've seen some people who are very, very scathingly critical of those. I feel kind of the same way towards Kingdom Hearts as I do about those Sonic games. It's just like, again, Sonic I don't think is really something that lends itself to being taken seriously to begin with, so I don't think its stories really should be taken too seriously. And, oh, of course, he's his ultimate form because, oh, and he has 2 weapons, and he's dual-wielding, that's actually perfect. And technically, if we hit him hard enough, we could take his killing edge and steal it for ourselves and reenact that fight. I technically own Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix with the HD remaster, but I own it on PS3, which I've heard has horrible load times, so I haven't played it yet. And yeah, so I've never actually played the Roxas fight for myself, but it looks good, and you can do some fun things with his revenge value in speedruns. Speaking of which, anyway, I guess I'll finish off my other tangent. I don't take... My TLDR version is I don't take Kingdom Hearts' story seriously, and neither should you. I just find it a lot more fun when I'm doing it that way. When I just, you know, again, it's... I kind of treat it like, this seems like a weird thing, but it will make sense in a moment. My sister really likes the Fast and Furious series, but she likes them as stupid, dumb fun. Like, she fully gets how stupid they are, and she just likes having something that she can just watch casually and not take too seriously. And, yeah, like, that's how I feel about Kingdom Hearts' storylines. But anyway, the thing I was going to get into about, like, the Roxas fight and revenge value, I actually think that Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite, like, action RPG systems of any action RPG that I've played, because an issue that I often have with action RPGs is that often they go too heavy in either one or the other direction. And the majority of ones that I played semi-recently, like Nier Automata and Final Fantasy 15, they've gotten to the point where, if you level up yourself too much, you don't need to even care about the action mechanics in the battle system. You will just slaughter everything in a few hits and just button mash, and you can just expect to win every time. I've always felt like that was not the case in Kingdom Hearts. In Kingdom Hearts, level does kind of matter to an extent, but at the same time, abilities matter, and most battles felt like they were a challenge, like, no matter what point you were in the game. And, like, you know, level 1 critical runs are a thing, and that's a legitimate challenge mode for the game. Playing at level 1, like, the games are even set up so you can do that. And they even have abilities that let you do that. I do admit, though, that later games are not as good about it as 1 and 2 are, because they have the whole, like, they scale your minimum damage to the world that you're in, I think, which makes it a lot, yeah, easier to do a low-level run, and I tried a level 1 critical run in Kingdom Hearts 3, and you can even see my run of the Tangled boss on this channel, by the way, shameless plug, but yeah, I had to quit it because it was just not fun, because you do chip damage to everything unless you spam food. Whereas that was not the case in 2 and Birth by Sleep. However, I will also say, though, that I think in Birth by Sleep, they were a little bit too generous with the... Oh, yeah, I didn't spot dodge that fast enough. They were a little bit too generous with the world battle level, to the point where multi-hit attacks like Peter Pan are stupidly broken. In fact, to the point where we're playing Birth by Sleep as on level 1 is actually faster than playing the game as a speedrun, is faster than a speedrun of beginner mode. Level 1 critical in Birth by Sleep, actually the fastest way to play that game, just because of how the Experience Zero properties of how they scale to the world and stuff. But anyway, oh yeah, so I'll finish that by just saying, I really like its action RPG aspects. I think it has the perfect balance of action and RPG, where the combat feels fast-paced and action-packed. At the same time, skills and stats also matter. But yeah, that is the end of that. That didn't really take me too long, comparatively speaking, for a spirit board. And with that, I don't know where I can go to really talk about this in detail. Maybe I can kind of go to the adventure mode map, maybe. So I suppose here I'll talk about that this is, unless I do an amiibo battle at some point, this is gonna be the end of this series, and it's actually been a really interesting one. So here are some bits of behind the scenes trivia for this. So this was not originally going, like, I was never originally going to do Smash Ultimate at all. It was World of Light that actually convinced me. Because this was a backup series. My original plan was to do a co-commentary series of Spyro Reignited Trilogy with my sister, but then she got sick. And my backup plan to that was a blind run of Torna the Golden Country, and then I decided, you know what, maybe I won't do that, and I'm, in hindsight, very glad that I didn't, because I've since found out that Torna does casually drop late-game spoilers for the base game. So I saw World of Light, and I was like, you know what, with these spirit battles, this series might be an opportunity to talk about, because I'm an avid gamer, I play a lot of games besides the ones I show on the channel, so this would give me an opportunity to talk about games that I will likely never cover on the channel, but that I might have some interesting stories to talk about regarding. And it just ended up evolving into a video series that I really enjoyed overall. I like this, I like doing this series a lot, and I think some of you have too, so it's been a very casual series. I'm nowhere near a competitive level Smash player, but I enjoyed World of Light, and I enjoyed showing all the DLC characters and their spirit boards. I got to talk about a lot of series that I never thought I would on this channel, and I guess now, if I go into Party, I can give my final thoughts on some of the DLC characters. I think, overall, my favourite one to actually play as, Pyra and Mithra. Sephiroth is a close second, though. The one that was the most hype for me was Joker, followed closely by Sora. The DLC character that I like the least is Byleth. And that's very, very strange, but yeah, I am a diehard Fire Emblem fan, and I don't like Byleth, and it's because I'm a diehard Fire Emblem fan that I don't. Byleth's inclusion only made people hate Fire Emblem. That's all it did. It just threw more logs into the massive, burning inferno of hatred for Fire Emblem that a lot of casual Smash fans have. Which is sad for someone who loves Fire Emblem so much. And with that, I guess I can just say, there has been a lot of salt over the fighter passes, and part of me still wonders whether or not the DLC was a good idea. I don't even... I will just say it right now, I don't think the fighter ballot was a good idea. It just gave people false hope for characters they wanted, and it just caused so much salt and anger and division and vicious hatred. But at the same time, I think we should look at more the good and not the bad. And I will say that Smash Ultimate is currently one of my favorite games of all time. And I think it actually is a good candidate for one of the greatest video games ever made. I mean, that's just my opinion, but that's how I feel. And Sakurai deserves immense praise for all that he went through to put this together, and deserves a huge vacation. And I don't know, like, this is the thing, people are wondering if there even is going to be another Smash game, because it would be hard to top this. I feel like if there is another Smash game, it is probably going to be a soft reboot. They'll probably cull a lot of the roster, and I'd be okay with that, honestly. And I don't think many of these characters would make the cut if there was a new Smash game, but I guess there'll be an opportunity for more new characters to join the roster in that case. So, on that note, I will leave you all here. Sorry that I'm awful with Sora. I know this wasn't exactly the best gameplay, but this was more about me talking about my history of the Kingdom Hearts series. And with that, I will definitely leave you this time. So, until I see you next time, this has been Clinky signing off and leaving the world of Smash for the time being. see you all in my next series. I hope you all enjoy playing as these DLC characters, and I especially hope you enjoy Sora. But yeah, Big Clinky signing off.